Hey, what up, y'all? How y'all doing? Hope y'all enjoyed the live tonight. Another epic night tonight. Once again, I just want to say I appreciate everyone's patience. Yeah, I had to reschedule my live for this particular one because I just had some things come up, you know. But we back in the building now, and it's gonna be good to go. Let me just try to get everything set up here. Boom. Yeah, I got it's been a while since I actually did lives from my phone, so you know, but it's good to see y'all up in the building with me, and I hope y'all enjoy this live. Yes, indeed. Hey, what up, Brown Dude Life? What's up, fam? Yeah, I was wanting to do some demonstrations for y'all because I was going to use. Let me see something here. Yeah, there's some different things I want to do. Was just going to actually have y'all listen to like just the way I wanted to start this video. I mean, this live stream off. I wanted to kind of chop it up with y'all in regards to the best way to get started with this live stream here for me is just really kind of to use one of my videos that I did, and that can kind of help me get started with some of my talking points in regards to this idea of the energy werewolf. Yes, for those who wanted to make the educated guess of what an energy werewolf is. Yes, the energy werewolf is opposite of the energy vampire. That is true. So I think what I'm going to do here is, because I can still see y'all on StreamYard. I wish there was a way. I got to figure out how to do most of the screen sharing. I'm gonna figure that out, y'all, because that would have helped me out tonight. What I'm going to do here, though, at least, is get to one of my videos that I did, and let me see something here, because I put it in my history. Let me see something. So that way I could get to it quicker. Let me see something here. All right. Yeah, I want to there we go. Let me see more of this. There we go. Where's the link? Oh, I already got it, Brown Dude Life. I already got it. Let me see something here. Yeah, it is actually no. If you want to put it in the chat, Brown Dude Life, just look in my playlist from yours truly 2019, and the title of that video is Narcissism Witchcraft, which by the way, you can even I don't know if you can see it from this depending on what device you're using, but you should be able to also put the link in the comment section. If you do that, fam, I'll pin your comments so that way people can use that as a cross reference for tonight and going forward for those listening to this on the replay. Uh, let me see something. Oh yeah, and by the way, Brown Do Life, it looks like yeah, you sent this message. I just got a notification of your message, so my bad. You didn't actually say that live, but you did mention like where's the link. But it's kind of funny when you when I saw your notification of that. It still ties in with this live stream per se, because people going to want to know where's the link to that video that you're using as a prop for this live. So uh yeah, no, I caught that, Brown Do Life. Yep, I caught that. I caught that. Uh, yeah, most definitely. Let me see something. I got the video here. Let me pause it for now. Let me see if it play. But yeah, man, what is y'all thoughts about uh energy werewolf, energy vampire? I mean, we could talk about the energy vampire all day long. We know about that already. That's nothing. But this idea that there is something to kind of counteract the energy vampire is what's really needed to be talked about. And so my disclaimer, as I did say in that, and as you will hear, in the video that I'm using as a prop that I made. Um, my disclaimer is that I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I've just been through some things. Hey, what's going on, Marty Marr? What's going on, fam? I actually need to give you a moderator wrench too, man. Yeah, I need to get you a mod wrench. So I'm gonna look out for you, Marty Marr. Stand by before I actually go ahead and get off into most of this live. Okay, so I got that uh going here. But yeah, man, what are some of y'all questions right quick before I go in on this energy werewolf, energy vampire thing? Uh Yup, she's a damn vampire. I see that, Marty Moore. Yeah, yeah, she's a damn vampire. Yeah, we can all relate to that. We can relate to that a lot. Let me see. Brown Do Life says, people looking to steal others' energy without investing anything in return. Yep, pretty much everything in a nutshell. So yeah, man. Let me see something here. Yeah, got you down as a mod, Marty Moore. So whenever you stop by, man, I know you ain't gonna be able to attend all my lives, but whenever you through here, man, whenever you come through here, man, you can have your sniper rifle for the vampires that try to come in my chat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part. But Brown Do Life, man, he been very much faithful. So uh, okay. Hey, what up, Bayou Bunny? Good to see you up in the building. Yes, good to see you up in the building, sweetie. For sure, for sure. Let me see what Marty Moore asked. Uh, he said, "How do we prevent these women from sucking us dry, Ray?" Well, yeah, that's the thing, man. Here at my channel, you know what I'm saying? I make the difference between woman and female. You know, um, a woman is not trying to suck you dry. A female is. So that's the thing. And of course, you got that sniper rifle for the females that show up here trying to act like vampires. Because the women that come here ain't trying to act like vampires. Yeah, buddy. All right, y'all. So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Bayou Bunny, she cool. She cool people. So, you know, don't worry, Marty. She cool peoples. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, she's a woman in the chat, not a female in the chat. We don't like females here in our spaces. We like women. We want to be with women. We want to chop it up with women. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do for sure. And before I get going, one thing I want to say is that, because this all makes sense as it ties in with the title of this live stream. Um, I'm getting a lot more moderators, a lot more guys that I think are my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm getting y'all to be mods. And you know what I'm saying? Just want to make sure we all on a good footing. I got some people, I don't know if they really like me or not, but they keep like, some people try to say I'm going to have another one of those typical male spaces that hates women and things like that. And I'm like, yo, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down with the blanket statement. I've always uplifted women. I've just called out the females, you know what I'm saying? Because I try to make the difference that we can actually vibe together, you know what I'm saying? And oh yeah, for sure. I feel you, Bayou Bunny, with all due respect. I know what you mean. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I mean, if you want to chat, you can chat, feel free to express yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's all love here, you know what I mean? So but yeah, I just want to let that be known for everybody that this is a place of love, not a place of hate. So hate won't be tolerated. So I got guys who I think are my mods that I think are my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and we all here to support each other. We don't deal with no guys on that hate, no males on that hate, just like we don't deal with no females on that hate. You know what I'm saying? It's all love over here. So yeah, let's get started, y'all. Uh, Before I actually start to get off into like how I'm using one of my videos as a piggyback for this live stream, I just want to say that my whole idea of how I came to know about this idea of the energy werewolf, it's just simple. Like we talk about energy vampires all the time. So if you just put this in legend, as legend has it about vampires, well, their arch nemesis is definitely the werewolf. Make that no mistake. So, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so the same could be true as far as the energy vampire. So, like I said, if you have a vampire that always has to deal with this arch nemesis, the werewolf, then the same should be true, in my opinion, about an energy vampire. They should have an arch nemesis of an energy werewolf. It just makes sense to me. It's just a logical thing to think about. And yeah, I mean, I just highlighted that comment that Brown Do Life made about the manosphere, and it's not even shooting shots at the manosphere either. I mean, there's vampires all over the place. Yes, some are in the manosphere, but there are some good brothers in the manosphere too. So no shots really shooting at them. But yeah, I mean, it's all about us having love all around. And over here, this is definitely what I consider a love channel, a love space. This ain't no hate space. And we're gonna talk about the hate here right now. So, without any further ado, man, let's get started with this. Let's get started with this, shall we? All right. So let me go back to this video that I did last year. And the title of this video was called "Is Narcissism Witchcraft?" I don't really have the time right now to really just highlight the put the link to the video in the comment section. I'll definitely have it there for the replay for those listening to this on the replay. Oh yeah, by the way, while I look up this video here, I hope everybody been having a good day. I hope all has been well for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I hope all has been well for everybody. All right, let me get to this video. And I hope y'all can hear, man. Let me know if the volume ain't that loud. I'll try to make it to where you can hear me. So I'm trying to let it buffer, get out the buffer. That's another reason why I'm doing this live stream from my phone right now instead of my laptop, because the bandwidth where I'm at right now just ain't good enough for my laptop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm finna play this, and I'm gonna be talking because that'll help me with my talking points about this energy werewolf. I figured I explained about it before. I'm just kind of going over certain things that I've brought up before, but the purpose of this live is that there was other things I wanted to add to this idea of the energy werewolf. So without further ado, let me know if it needs to be louder. You know what I'm saying? I got it up as loud as I could, but hopefully it's not too overbearing. So put a one in the chat as y'all hear me talk from a year ago. Let me know if the volume's okay. Hit the one in the chat while y'all hear me talk. Hopefully everything sounds good. Here we go. So is narcissism witchcraft? By the way, this was a video topic request that I had got from somebody. And yeah, I'm real cool with them. They were like, "Hey, you should talk about narcissism." And here I am. So let's answer this question. Let's see how this all unfolds. So I'm pretty unorthodox with some of my video delivery, but yeah, I mean, I'm not a psychologist by no means. Let me put that disclaimer out there. I have no PhD. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just someone that I hope one can relate to. I think that I've been through a lot of big things in my life. I lived in a city where 40 to 50% of the population was on some type of medicine, or they needed to be on some type of psychomedicine. So I've dealt with a lot of mental disturbances, if you know what I mean. Not that George truly is mentally disturbed. So let's get that straight. But one thing I've noticed in upon some of my studies, because I guess yeah, you could say I've had to take some psychology. When I was in college, uh, I did some studies on Sigmund Freud. And he talked about a lot of the problems with the narcissists that they have all started from when they were young. And one thing that Sigmund Freud did say in one of his statements, I'm not going to read a lot of stuff, but he did say something on the lines of a boy wants to replace his father and be the lover of his mother. And so, okay, I'm gonna try to fast forward a little bit for y'all so I can start really getting down to my talking points on some things. But thanks for putting a one in the chat, Brown Do Life. I appreciate that. Let me try to see if I can get to a part where I start to talk more about some stuff. And we gotta wait until it loads up. You know how that goes too. So yeah, but one thing that I'll kind of state and talk about. Oh, hold up, y'all. Let me rewind that a little bit. Give me a second, bear with me, y'all. Let's see if I do that here. Press play. But nevertheless, if I miss some points, I'll just kind of kind of refresh my own self because I'm just not getting the right kind of connection. Becoming witchcraft. So I didn't understand all this about Sigmund Freud, by the way, when he was saying this stuff. But man, I understand all this because it's just deep now. Upon my personal endeavors, I found it best to deal with narcissism by going to the core of the problem. To deal with the surface, though, you must go to the core. With the present, you must go to the past. Now, the idea of going to the past is part of the core, because you get down to the bottom of what's really going on with an individual that's being narcissist to you. You can kind of, and it's really not this difficult now. If you call yourself trying to get to know somebody, if you will, whether on the realm of trying to build a certain type of relationship with them, because for those that watch my videos, yours truly don't believe in a relationship by itself. I believe in different types of relationships, though. But let's say on the standpoint of getting to know somebody in a certain type of relationship you're having with them, and let's say you just want to talk to them about some of their past, right? But they don't want to talk about it. That right then and there should let you know how much of a narcissist they are. Because narcissists will not let you get to the core of what's really going on with them, what really makes them tick, Okay, so just starting off there, how I feel like this ties in with the energy werewolf is because, for just in case someone don't know, the narcissist represents the energy vampire. The codependent represents the energy werewolf. So my thing is like when you're trying to know somebody, because back then I said get to know, I mean grow to know. 1 second, y'all. All right, I had to do a H2O check, y'all. I had to do a H2O check. Okay, so like when you're trying to grow to know somebody versus get to know, like the popular narrative says, I mean, there's things you want to know about them. And so overall, you'll get around someone that doesn't really let you know a lot of things about them. So, because those things will make them tick for you to want to know certain things about them. But to someone that's a codependent, of course, you want to know those things about them so that you know more about them. But you realize you get around a person that they ain't trying to let you know a lot of things about them. And so that's kind of where some of the genesis of some of the frustrations of the wolf starts to take place. Just right then and there, just from the simple fact that someone is withholding personal information based on your intimacy that you're developing with that person. Yes, once again, a lot of this starts when you're dealing with someone that's withholding personal information about them that could help with your intimacy with them. I don't know about you, but that'll make me mad too, knowing that somebody just ain't trying to tell me everything about them. You know what I'm saying? But we getting closer, we getting more intimate and things like that. And yes, intimacy and sex are not the same thing, so don't get that twisted. But yeah, when you get really close to somebody like that, and they don't really open up to you a certain way, that makes you frustrated. And remember, this is based on reciprocation. So that means that more than likely you were open with them, but they weren't open with you. Yes, you were open with them, but they were not open with you. So that makes you feel some type of way. So the way this makes you feel more so is that you pretty much gave them a part of you, per se, your energy, and they really gave you nothing back. So it starts to feel like a very parasitical, vampiristic situation, if you will. I don't even know if vampiristic is really a word, but it is part of this whole idea of vampirism, where, kind of like what Brown Do Life alluded to earlier. They're feeding off your source and they have nothing back to give you. And it's not that you expect things back in return, but it is based on that reciprocation principle. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that reciprocation. And the way I define it is, it's not that you want to be 50-50 with somebody. You want to be 100-100, meaning that everybody's giving their 100%, because you probably didn't hear this before, but it's similar to the heartbeat. The heart is working at 100% on each side, whether it's pumping in or pumping out. It does so 100% on both sides, because otherwise you'll get a heart attack, you'll get a heart murmur, you'll probably get a stroke. So the heart has to operate at 100% on both sides. That's the true reciprocation, and that's what you really must try to get out of every type of relationship out here. Reciprocation. Otherwise it becomes very like I said, very vampiristic. Someone is draining you. And so that's the thing about the vampire. It feeds off that source. That source basically is the light or the truth or your resources. I don't care. Vampires feed off light. They feed off sources. They drain you, drain your energy. This is the mindset of a narcissist, the energy vampire. Now, the whole idea of actually, feeding on blood, just as a side note, since we're talking about vampires, we haven't even gotten to the werewolf part yet, but I want to just kind of hit y'all up with a little aspect of, this whole vampire thing. And I think I'm starting to kind of get into the groove of kind of some of the talking points I wanted to talk about, because I kind of use like I said, I was using my video that I did previously as a prop, but now yours truly is about to go in. I may not need this video no more as a prop. I can go in now. Just had to do a little warm up. Yeah, because my thing is, as far as putting this idea together, as far as this energy werewolf, there's not too much information out there about it. Not in the context that it needs to be. You may find slight information out there about this idea of energy werewolf, but once again, it's not in the context that it needs to be. So hopefully you'll see that proper context here. So the thing is, okay, vampires feed off light. So the opposite is true with the werewolf. It feeds off dark. Okay, so the vampire representing the narcissist feeds off the light. The werewolf representing the codependent feeds off the dark. So there you go. Now, this idea of animals needing blood to feed on, okay, it's called hematophagy. That's the name of the term. That's the name of the term. And I'm actually type it down in the chat section for y'all. So yeah, that y'all can, go ahead and look it up if you want to. But these are different types of animals that are pretty much vampiristic. It's called hematophagy. And yes, you also have different types of vampirism, or different types of ways that animals feed on blood, or use blood as their form of food. So we're about to get to that right now, because this is actually all going to tie in with what I want to talk about here with the werewolf, and how the werewolf has to counteract all this. So I just type in hematophagy for y'all, so y'all can look this up, and we finna get more into this idea. Okay, so there are several types of hematophagy, or several types of ways an animal feeds blood. Now, there are actual terms for these ways that I'm about to tell you, but I'm just going to try to be straight to the point. One way of vampirism is piercing. So like a mosquito, it pierces you in order to feed blood from you. Another way is a bite. So yes, similar to a vampire bat, and the licking of a wound. Yes, the licking of a wound. That's the third way. And the unique thing about the vampire bat is that it does both. It bites you, then it licks your wound. And then the fourth way that I could think of as far as vampirism is parasitic. So basically, an organism has to get inside of you and starts to feed on your blood. And some parasites do that. Okay. So those are just four ways. And this to me is kind of similar to the human paradigm as far as vampirism, because if the vampire is feeding off light, it's feeding off your blood in all these different ways, your energy, right, appears. How does it do that? How could it do that if it was reflective of the animal world? Well, yeah, I mean, simple. I mean, energy vampires basically can pierce your soul by just making you feel some type of way. They feed off your sadness that they put upon you by piercing you with whatever it is, their truth. Well, not really their truth, but more or less like how they really feel about you. They just make you feel some type of way, right? Or, let's say if it's a bite, the way they bite you, it could more or less be just more or less the way that they continue to talk about you, like how they yell at you. I don't know. Some of y'all can help me out with this. Uh, Licking a wound. So this means if you're already going through a bad situation, but you got someone coming around, in my opinion, they're not really caring about your sufferings. They only want you to care about their sufferings. So basically, your sufferings is, benefiting them. You know what I'm saying? The licking of a wound, the licking of your blood source to give them nutrients. And then parasitic, okay, them getting up inside of you and they find a way to contaminate your body. Okay. Now, people do that all the time. They find a way to get inside of you as far as your personal life, your personal business. You know what I'm saying? And then they become very parasitic. And then that's how they drain you, because that's what the parasite does. It finds a host, it goes inside of it, and then it pretty much contaminates that host. People do this all the time. This very vampiristic way that people are around you. People do this all the time. Now, mind you, one thing, and legend has it about werewolves, is that werewolves are immune to a lot of things. So keep that in mind. We're not done. We're just getting started. Now, this is just a side note, because I like to do wordplay sometimes with certain things. You got revamp. Revamp. I'm pretty sure you've heard of that word, revamp. I want you to think about that. Look up the word revamp, but then also think about the fact that it has the word vamp in the word revamp. Re to me just means more or less starting over, revamp. So to me, this could mean, from my personal opinion, you got people who just continue on with their behavior. It's very cyclical. Cyclical. I can't even say that right now, but it means that it's a cycle. Their behavior. They continue to just revamp themselves as energy vampire. Okay. But in the midst of their revamping, you have to beware. Okay. Now, beware. You see the word where. You could change that to like werewolf. Beware. Now, actually, werewolf in a lot of folklore just means wolf man, werewolf, beware. So where part means man. You know what I'm saying? Usually in most of the folklore that's out there. So basically, beware, be a man. There you go. Okay. So they also said this, though, in the midst of this werewolf being riddled with rage towards the innocent. But I don't think that's the case today. I think like the idea of a werewolf to me in this day and age is someone that's riddled with rage towards the guilty parties. Okay, like I told you, the werewolf is the arch nemesis to the vampire. So the codependent in many ways can become the arch nemesis to the narcissist. And we've seen a lot of guys and a lot of gals who, they were accused of heinous crimes of passion. Shout out to Bayou Bunny. She did a live stream the other day talking about crimes of passion. I believe crimes of passion are done by codependent people, not narcissistic people. These codependent people were very passionate about these narcissistic people that they thought would, return love in return. And that didn't happen. So crime of passion, a person becomes this beast. They were not this beast at first. They became this beast, because that's what someone that's a werewolf is. You started off normal, but then you become a beast. The narcissist person that you were around brought the beast out of you. Now, I feel in the greatest scheme of all this, I believe that this is something that one should not desire to be. You should not be around someone that's going to change you to be something that you weren't at first, because that's what the werewolf is. It is something, it is a metamorph manifestation of something that it wasn't at first. And a lot of this occurs during the full moon, the peak of its metamorphosis. So to me, I refer that to depression. When someone is at the peak of the depression, they're going to become a beast. Okay. So you can see how this ties in with werewolf, energy werewolf. Someone that was a narcissistic person got you to be so depressed. Don't let someone get you that depressed. That's all I can say as a moral of that story. Okay. Now, we'll talk more about this werewolf now, since we're now starting to go down this rabbit hole. I told you I just had to warm up by using my previous video, but I didn't want to bore y'all, so here we go. Now, see, and I mentioned earlier already, the werewolf feeds off the dark. So depending on how the focused they are on chasing down the narcissist, it's like, with someone that's narcissistic, no matter how evil you think you are, the codependent is only going to feed off your evil more. And this is what the vampires recognized about the werewolf. And that really it just becomes a war of attrition. If you don't know what necessarily the war of attrition is, it's basically in a sense of a combat. Both sides really don't win. Okay. Both sides really don't win. And you just end up hurting each other even more, to where I guess you could say you both end up dying. But in the case of the werewolf and the vampire, they both don't. They have to find other clever ways of dealing with each other. And we're going to get to that, those clever ways, because I've looked at a few videos about this, but I believe that beyond the legend and the folklore, this has some truth in life. I really believe it. Now, tying this even more with the whole energy werewolf, energy vampire. Now, and of course, I could have did this during Halloween, but I don't, this ain't just Halloween. This is every day for a lot of people, like with the way they have to deal with life. Okay. So I said the werewolf feeds off the dark, because the werewolf, represents the codependent, the energy werewolf versus the energy vampire narcissist. Usually with the werewolf, most people say, like, most werewolves are like unaware of what's going on. They just act out of pure primal instincts and rage, and they react instead of think. And then upon them metamorphing back to human form, they have amnesia. They don't really remember what they did and things like that. So that kind of reminds me of a person that just decides to black out, or as we say, they decided to snap. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody got them to that point where they just got to snap. You're just like, all right, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, for the most part, Dracula just doesn't really get a chance to laugh like he normally does when he sees that werewolf after he made that person turn into one. He might be like, here comes Dracula. But that doesn't last for too long, because now he's like, oh no, oh no. So yes, this means that Dracula has to think of another way of dealing with the werewolf. And from what I've gathered, the werewolf really doesn't have any weaknesses upon becoming a werewolf. It's just as fast, it's just as strong as the vampire upon being a werewolf, So, and then the fact that the werewolf has the advantage of walking during the day and during the night, but at its peak, it becomes this full werewolf during the full moon. So there's only one way, and there's only one way that the vampire can get rid of the werewolf. And that's with a silver bullet. And we all have heard about this. Now, it's funny because we know about the cliche, I just dodged the bullet. I just dodged the silver bullet. There you go, man. Think about where that statement came from. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of this is true because if you think about it, most of us say this idea of dodging a bullet because we probably was in a situation with someone that was a narcissist, but you got out of that situation before it got worse. So in many ways, you probably put yourself in the werewolf shoes because you were pretty much probably about to give that narcissistic person a run for their money. And the only way they can really deal with you is to give you a silver bullet, not just figuratively speaking, but literally speaking. I think we all can relate to some of these stories, you know, uh, and so can the werewolf. But now here's the thing. Um, there is one form of this wolf that the vampire can't get, that, the vampire really hopes to never run into. Enter the lycanthrope, or some people say short for lichen. So yes, there is a difference between werewolves and lichens. And yes, this still ties in with this energy vampire, energy werewolf perspective. So yes, enter the energy lichen. But we'll get to that energy part here shortly. So here's the difference though between a werewolf and a lichen. Of course, a werewolf is only a werewolf or a wolf man during the full moon, you know. And of course, I related that to the human experience. That full moon is representative of one in their deep depression. So that's your full moon. So I tell people, don't become deeply depressed like that. Don't let somebody get you to the point where you're deeply depressed like that and you have to bring out that beast. We don't want to do that. So I'd say, for those who believe in faith, believe in a higher power, those who just don't want to act uncharacteristic, find more peaceful solutions, find ways to transmute that anger in other ways. Because, like they say, success is definitely the best revenge. Success is definitely the best revenge. However, we live in a wicked world. We live in a very wicked world. So, some things have evolved, and some people have evolved. You'll have one person telling you, like me, you'll have one person telling you, man, don't let that beast come out. Don't let nobody get you to that point where you got to be a beast like that. But then you have other people that might tell you, you know, one day you're gonna be one cold son of a gun. They ain't gonna know what to do with you. You just evolving. They ain't gonna know what to do with you in a few years once you figure all this out. So this to me represents the idea of the lycanthrope. Because here's the deal. Like I said, the difference between the werewolf and the lichen is that, like I said, the werewolf only becomes its form during a full moon, or in the human case, as I said, during your depression. That depression is your full moon. A lycanthrope remains wolf. So yes, a werewolf becomes a wolf man. A lycanthrope is always wolf man. And the difference between a lycanthrope and the werewolf as far as intellect is, I told y'all earlier that with the werewolf, it just acts out of pure rage and pure instinct and just frustration and ready to chase down a vampire. It's ready to stalk a vampire. Keep that word stalk in your back pocket. We're going to get back to that word stalk. Yeah. But the thing is that the lycanthrope is different from the werewolf, or the lichen is different from the werewolf in the fact that it has intellect. The werewolf acts purely off primal rage, and the lycanthrope acts off intellect. Because there's this idea that most people, from what I've studied, from what I've gathered, most people have said werewolves don't have that intellect to really think about how to get rid of a vampire like that. They'll combat a vampire with all this rage and tear the vampire to shreds, but the vampire will find a way to regenerate itself once more. So it's like, okay, like I said earlier, it just becomes a war of attrition. But the vampire can't do that with the lichen. The lichen is actually smart because it's always wolf man. It's always a wolf man. So it has probably even more superior intellect than the vampire. It knows how to bring the vampire into the sun and let the vampire disintegrate. Incinerate, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And this is something new, the whole idea of the lycanthrope. For all we know, like, vampires haven't really evolved over the years, but the idea of the werewolf has. But this ties in with the whole narcissist and codependent aspect. See, the narcissistic people, they don't really change up. We kind of know what they're going to be doing. We kind of know their behaviors after so long upon you discovering they were actually treating you a certain way. But what's new for the narcissist is this idea that, oh, codependent people are catching up and they're figuring out how to deal with us. So just as in folklore, this idea of the lycanthrope has showed up to be pretty much one of the ultimate matches for the vampire. This idea of a codependent that is like this, more or less this that's sharp about how to know how to deal with narcissists has showed up as well. This whole hybrid aspect of things, to a certain extent. So yeah, the so really kind of, before I go a little further with this live stream, how much time I got, by the way? 40 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Um, you know, the idea of the energy werewolf, once again, is just someone that's you're a counteraction. You're a counteraction to the energy vampire. So yes, that's the idea of an energy werewolf. Anybody else tells you different than that, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay. So, and I believe in this, but it's not something that one can be all the time, because usually in your codependent stages, you're not thinking about being enraged with somebody. You're still trying to love somebody, but you just haven't realized that person doesn't love you. But once you realize that, that's when you might become enraged. But my goal is for those who may have that side of them, maybe you have to tap into your inner lichen. Maybe you were never the werewolf this whole time. Maybe you were a lichen. And maybe you have to always be that. You have to always be that lichen in order to deal with the vampire. You know what I'm saying? Because just you as a werewolf alone, it ain't going to, you ain't going to be able to stand a chance. So, it's just basically, when I say that, they better, one day they ain't gonna know how to deal with you. You're gonna become one cold son of a gun. That's really this whole idea, is that you tap into this true wolf man 24/7. Like, you start to really know the ways of the narcissist. You know what I'm saying? You start to really think a certain way and know how to deal with them. So that was the whole idea of the lycanthrope. Basically, someone in a wolf form or codependent form that really knows how to deal with narcissistic type of people, or someone that really knows how to deal with a vampire, someone that the vampire can't quite shoot he can't quite shoot a silver bullet at him. You know what I'm saying? So yes, but this is not everybody. This is not a mindset. Okay, this ain't a mindset. This ain't something that you're hearing from me and you can apply it for your philosophy. I'm basically trying to reach out to someone that has a similar life story. Like, you've had people tell you that, yo, once you tap into who you really are, they ain't gonna know how to deal with you. They were talking about that lycanthrope. They weren't talking about the werewolf part of you. You know what I'm saying? Because the werewolf part of you would have just more or less be that you got to hold back your inner beast. Don't let them try to have you be something you're not. And for some people that is true. You know what I'm saying? You just have to avoid narcissistic people. But for some, you find out that maybe you have a knack for dealing with narcissistic people, and maybe because of the way your life is going, you will run into more narcissistic people. So this is where, let's shift the whole definition of things. You now deal with someone called an energy lichen, okay? And that is the true, I won't even say nemesis. I don't think the energy vampire does not stand a chance against an energy lichen. They don't. They'll have one heck of a fight with an energy werewolf, as long as the energy werewolf just continues to stalk them. But the energy lichen finds a way to outsmart the vampire. See, the vampire was just going off someone that was a werewolf that wasn't as smart. Maybe brawn, but no brain. But that's not so for someone that kind of figures you out. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to this word stalking before I forget, because the wolf stalks, right? The wolf stalks, it hunts, and so most of the time, the vampire, when he knows he can't really stand a chance and it's going to be a waste of time to keep trying to fight a werewolf or a being that has similar strength to him, the vampire is just going to try to flee, usually. You know what I'm saying? And now it has to just find ways for this wolf not to stalk him. He has to find ways for this werewolf not to stalk him no more. Now, isn't that not true about society? Like, when someone accuses you of stalking, They were probably a narcissistic person that screwed you over. So you decided that you needed to hunt them down for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you just wanted to confront them. You weren't trying to stalk them, but nevertheless, they'll still accuse you of stalking. Because basically, yeah, you got wind that they were trying to use you, and you're like, oh no, man. And depending on the different ways they were trying to drain you, as I said earlier, with the different forms of vampirism earlier, you really like, oh no, man, oh no, I know you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So people don't like that. Narcissistic people are the ones that accuse somebody of stalking. I find that all the true. You know what I'm saying? I find that so true. It's only narcissistic people that I've noticed accuse people of stalking them. Okay, so sorry, vampires. The werewolf is going to stalk you. You know what I mean? But thankfully, some people have found better ways of dealing with you besides stalking you endlessly, especially in this type of society that doesn't really deal with the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? You just want to accuse somebody of stalking, but you never looked at how that situation escalated. Okay. People never do that. You're just looking at, oh, somebody stalking somebody. And I don't, obviously, I'm not condoning stalking. That's why I'm telling people, like, just don't let people let you get to the point of where you got to bring the beast out like that. Either you evolve or you just find a way to not let the beast come out. And of course, you evolve once you realize you might be more than a werewolf. You realize that you are lichen. You know what I mean? Your energy lichen, because you're gonna make sure no one drains you of your sources like that. This is deep. As far as this whole werewolf, vampire, and lichen, as I'm telling y'all. Okay. But that's the thing. You might also have somebody, because see, I grew up with this, and maybe some of y'all can relate. I grew up with, everybody has their own stories of being bullied before, you know what I'm saying? And I was like the gentle giant growing up, I didn't want to fight nobody, but people knew what my potential strength was and what it was becoming. So they would tell those same people that try to bully me, you know what I'm saying? They would tell those same people that would try to bully me, they'd be like, yo, you better leave Ray alone because you just never know how he might strike back. You know what I'm saying? Once he becomes his true self, or maybe he doesn't know what his true self is, he'll find a way to bring the beast out. But either way, you know what I'm saying? Leave him alone. And I think that's so true for somebody that's been done wrong. You might not want to deal with some people because you don't know how they're going to come back. You provoke them to be a certain way. You don't know how they're going to come back snapping on you. So some people you might want to leave alone. Some of you vampires, some of you energy vampires out there, you might want to leave some people alone. You might not want to play with some people's emotions because you never know when they're going to come back like a wolf on you. And not just any wolf, but a werewolf. Okay. Now, ironically, I brought up wolf. Now, see, with the lycanthrope, it thinks actually like a wolf. Okay. It's a true wolf man. Okay. Now with the werewolf, it's not necessarily thinking like a wolf. It's just taking on wolf form and it has wolf capabilities, but it's just truly like a rabid beast. Okay. But the lycanthrope actually thinks like an actual wolf. Like he thinks like wolf 24/7. So a lot of times when I say lone wolf, I have deeper implications of this idea of what wolf really means. It's not just a title. It's not just a label. When you say lone wolf, you better know what you mean when you say wolf. You know what I mean? So, a lycanthrope type of individual thinks like wolf. Wolves are very smart creatures. They're very mysterious and they're very tactful. You know what I'm saying? They don't just try to, kill anything or hunt down anything. You know what I'm saying? Of course, of the cliche. A lot of times they go after the old, the weak, and the sick. I'm not trying to really go into the analysis of that, but this just letting y'all know that wolves do think. And so the lycanthrope thinks more like a wolf, and the werewolf just simply thinks more like a beast. It just has the appearance of a wolf. But you have those who could be more or less like a codependent narcissist hybrid type of person. I brought that up earlier, but I just said per se because it wasn't really the truth of what I was saying, but I was trying to build this up to, some of my final talking points here. Yeah, I wanted to bring this up in some of my final talking points here on this live stream. That yes, there is actually a hybrid individual. There is definitely a hybrid individual, and of course, if some of y'all seen the Underworld movie, you saw that werewolf lichen hybrid. You know what I'm saying? But I said werewolf lichen hybrid. I meant vampire lichen hybrid. Now now I don't know if they had everything correct as far as it being a lichen vampire hybrid. I believe that it was, but maybe it was. No, 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 no. I don't know because see, like I said, a lichen always remains a wolf man, and a werewolf only transforms into a wolf man. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that is true. Maybe he was a vampire lichen hybrid instead of a vampire werewolf hybrid. Somebody help me out with that. Even those listening to this on the replay, I'm trying to make sure I got everything contextually correct. You know what I'm saying? So, but nevertheless, okay, these hybrid people, these codependent slash narcissistic people, these hybrid people, all I can say is that that is very unnatural. That's all I can say. Okay. The whole idea of you being a lichen versus a werewolf more so is it's more so that you just know how to deal with the best of both worlds as far as um you know what's to come with the whole narcissistic thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant by the liking aspect. But when you're a true codependent slash narcissistic person, to me that's not unnatural. These are things that I think are of witchcraft. Okay. And so this brings up something else. It's kind of a side note, but I think it applies to this live stream here. Okay. So you got the world of the vampires and the werewolves, and now we're talking about witchcraft because it kind of ties in with the video that I did called Is Narcissism Witchcraft? But I didn't really give y'all the full description of that in that particular video that I did a year ago, given the date of this live stream. Okay. Now, the witchcraft aspect of this clash of the narcissist and the codependent is that this person isn't a wolf nor is a vampire. This person is a demon. Okay. So you may have heard this idea that hellhounds were werewolves. No, hellhounds are not werewolves. Hellhounds are sent from hell. Literally. I mean, look at the name. It's hell. Okay. So hellhounds are demonic dogs, satanic dogs. You know what I'm saying? They're demons, okay? And then you got this idea that some people talked about the idea of the skinwalker. Now, this is mostly in so-called Native American folklore, this idea of a skinwalker, but it is more so skinwalker usually when translated into a lot of the so-called Native American language, this basically means one that can walk on all fours. Once again, the idea of the skinwalker is someone in Native American language that can walk on all fours. So this was this idea that in certain parts of Utah, you had a person that could walk on all fours and appeared to be a hellhound. But of course, based on modern legend, that was debunked. That person wasn't a hellhound. Well, actually, no, that person was a hellhound and they weren't a skinwalker, But that's a side note, man. I just thought I'd bring that in. I just thought I'd bring that in there to let y'all know that I know what I'm talking about. But to me, yeah, this ties in with the whole narcissism and codependent hybrid type of person. To me, this person isn't real. This is a unnatural person. This is a very satanic and demonic person. This is someone that practices witchcraft. Because to me, you can only be a codependent or you can only be a narcissist. Now, someone that's into psychology and all that, maybe you can prove me wrong. I don't know. But I just think that you can only be one way or be another. Okay. You can't be both. If you're both, you're doing some type of witchcraft. And it's based on kind of some of the things that I just mentioned about someone that can definitely appear in a demonic form, which is, you're a hellhound or you're some type of skinwalker. But nevertheless, you're not a werewolf type of person. You're not a vampire type of person. You're just someone that does witchcraft. You're just a witch. okay? Or you're just a hellhound, you know. That's what you are. But nevertheless, this is a different ball game because some people might call this individual a necessary evil, someone that you can't really be around, but someone that you know ain't trying to necessarily do you wrong either. Okay. And maybe they have the same quote enemy you do. And we all have this. So maybe this whole cliche of keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Maybe your enemy that is closer, per se, is the codependent, narcissistic, hybrid type of person. Okay. Someone, yeah, that, you know, they into all that dark magic and witchcraft and all that stuff, but you need to keep close tabs on them because maybe they know someone that you've known that's been very narcissistic towards you, given that you were a codependent. You know what I'm saying? But I'd say moving forward, you know, just to kind of wrap up this live stream because we are now at the we're getting close to the hour mark. Wow. I really sped through this like Usain Bolt towards the end of this live. I'm still under an hour with this live. Cool. Okay. Um, but just to wrap things up, you know, hopefully I gave y'all an idea of what the energy werewolf is like versus the energy vampire, and that possibly there is someone that surpasses both the energy werewolf and the energy vampire in the form of this idea of the energy lichen. And maybe I alluded to something even more than that with the idea of someone being an energy demon. Basically, someone that's like a hellhound type of a person or a skinwalker type of a person. Okay. And I don't know. With that said, I just I might as well wrap it up right now because yeah, hopefully this live made sense to some. Maybe this live didn't make sense to others, but to the others that this live made some sense to, feel free to hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. And if anybody got any questions while I'm doing my closing statement, or you got any opinions, agreements, disagreements, let me know in the chat or let me know in the comment section, as long as you being respectful for those listening to this on the replay. All right. But it took a while for me to come up with a lot of this conceptualization, but I believe that it represents a lot of our realizations. You know what I'm saying? It does. I believe it does. Because we go through this in life, and sometimes you got to find the fine line. I won't say the in between, but sometimes you got to be the best of both worlds. Of course, on the positive end, to me, this means being like a lichen or a lycanthrope. And yeah, on the bad end of it, as far as the best of both worlds per se, you got those who are into the satanic and the demonic stuff. But nevertheless, they're not necessarily trying to harm you. They got a common enemy like you do, but you ain't trying to be around them either. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they into all that occult stuff, and you're not rocking with that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, share this live. You know, I appreciate that. If this is your first time coming to this channel and you happen to like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. More content like this on the way. I don't just do live streams, I also do content. But yeah, for those who man, I appreciate y'all actually just wanting to see me go live. You know, even when I wasn't able to do this particular live stream yesterday, given the date of this live stream, I know some of y'all still showed up, man, and I appreciate that, you know. But definitely more on the way. I got more on the way, and I got more. I got more live streams that I've planned, and I got a lot of live streams that I haven't even planned yet. I got so much on the way, y'all. Um, oh yeah, and for those new to this channel, and even for those who've been to this channel, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get all of my lives and my content in real time. Yeah, I want y'all to get all this in real time. But yeah, with all that said, look, no matter what it looks like out there, it's only going to get better from here. Don't let these vampiristic people try to take your energy away. You know what I mean? There's different ways you can deal with these people. You know, don't let them bring out your beast like that. I know that some of us tend to get to that point. And, you know, there are times for these things in proper settings, as long as it's not trying to, I guess, be too much like demons. I guess, you know, you're not trying to be too demonic, too evil. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, sometimes, you know, you just need to let some things out. I get that. But we got to learn how to be more balanced and not let narcissistic people try to get to us like that, get under our skin or get us to come out of our skin like werewolves do, you know? But yeah, man, it's only going to get better from here, despite the vampires. And until next time, signing out. Ow!